Hi everybody. I'm sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. Who's in? Danny. Oh no, you're homesick. Oh gosh, hope you're all right. Nothing serious, I hope. Hi Brian. Janet. Hello, love. How are you? We want Cooper. We want Cooper. No, we don't want Cooper, Danny. We really don't. God, he drove me mad last night with his barking. It was dreadful. So, can you hear this this fan at the side of me? I just want to make sure it's not interfering too much. But I'm so warm. It's 28 degrees here and I'm suffering badly. Oh, you you can't hear. Oh, can you not hear me, Janet, or is it just you? Can everybody else hear me? Might be you, Janet. Have you got your volume on? Oh, dear me. So, since we did the live on Thursday with our special guest, oh, that's good. Oh, it's just Janet. Okay. Hi, Marie. How are you, love? Yeah, since we did the live on Thursday, we've got quite a few new subs that have joined from over on Mick McLaren's side of things, and a couple who I think. Sometimes people just come across things by accident. So, if you see our new members in chat, please make them welcome, as I know that you always will, which is great. There are a couple of channels. I don't know if, Danny, you may have seen them. I'm not sure, but on my community pages, the last two that have gone on there, that's addressing something because there's some bloody troublemaker from a different community trying to stir it up. So you can ignore those two. But the other posts that are on there, I've got a lot of links that are for different things to watch. Hi, YouTube lady. Hope you're well. Hi, Frida. Oh, yeah, your daughter's there. Hi, daughter of Frida. Listen, for everybody, Frida's just done a full Chinese meal for her and her daughter. She sent me photos of it, so I wish to employ her. We've just had Porky walking past rubbing his tummy. So was tea a success? I don't know. I can't hear him. Oh yeah, okay. He had a big pork loin steak, and it was a big one with stuffed mushrooms and chips. It looks like he's left the mushrooms, though. Never mind. Hi, Wiccan. Hi, Sheila. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so Frida's done this wonderful meal for her and her daughter, and I said I want to employ her as my own chef. So, as I said, as I was saying then when he came downstairs, we've got. So I put a lot of different links on my community posts, on community page, I should say. There is one for if you remember the story that Mick was telling us about his most frightening encounter at is it Bempton? Anyway, there. So I put the link to Lee Roscoe was there. Now I've met Lee once, and he's a nice guy. So if you sub to his channel, I've put the link there. But his covering of that particular incident, but Mick has also got it on his channel. So I tried to put as many links as I could in there for you all. But if there's anything that's missing, please let me know. There's also another channel, and oh god, bear with me a second. I'm going to try and find it. Sorry guys, I'm really unprepared as always. I'm going to put it into the chat. when I can get this stupid tablet to work. Okay. Now, how's everybody doing with the this horrendous heat in the UK? That thunderstorm last night was absolutely awful. It was terrible. I mean, it ended up right overhead at one point as well, which was quite bad. Right, hang on. I'm going to find this link for you. I'm going to put them. Don't forget, anybody, if you've got links for your own channel, stick them in. Like Danny, please stick your channel link in. Sheila, stick yours in. Anybody else who's got a channel with some content. I'm just going to get this link. Oh God, I'm so rubbish. Me and technology, we're not great bedfellows, as you all are fully aware. Right, first link is to... Right, here we go. So the first link is to Lee Roscoe's channel. So I'm going to put that in the chat now. Give Lee a follow. And then the next one is... This is the one I can't remember the guy's name. I'm so sorry. Oh, here we go. Do It Noel's Way Paranormal. So I'm going to give him a shout out as well. Here it is. Oh, Wiccan's there as well. So yeah, everybody sub to everybody. Right, I'm just going to put this one in, and the rest of them, if other people can put my oh, there's Marie's as well. Give Marie a follow. Hi Linda, how are you, my darling? Lovely to see you as always. Right, so I'm just going to put this last link in here. God, I'm trying to bob between between my tablet and my phone, and it is a pain in the arse, derriere, backside and bum. Right, so that's the other one. That is the Do It Noel's Way Paranormal. Okay, so what we're talking about tonight? Well, there are a few things. So there are three things actually. If you look at the description, I tried to put them. I tried to put it out there. Now, I am a firm believer that when I didn't know Marie had a channel as well. I am sub to you though, aren't I? Because I always sub. If I see anybody's sub to me, I'll sub back to them. But if anybody has subbed to me and I haven't subbed back, give me a nudge in the comments after this live, because they don't always show up. Hi, Julia. Hello. We're just about to start, so you've timed that nicely. I don't know where types with elbows is, but, you know, whatever. I'm sure Cassie will be along soon. Okay, so one of my theories on seeing cryptids and so on is that I think once you have been exposed to a particular encounter, incident, call it what you will, that it then opens you up for other experiences. Okay, and I think I discussed this with Mick the other night, you know, and I said I just seem to think that a lot of these people who have experiences, they will have had other paranormal experiences of some sort. So that's been my firm belief. Now, no, I'm actually sitting inside, Brian. I've just come into the conservatory. So bear with me a second. I'm going to have to bring the fan. I was sitting in the kitchen, but I'm going to bring the fan in here. So, because then I can put my television on and I can see what people are saying, because I can't watch it on my phone. Right, so I'll just carry on while I'm getting everything sorted out. So, my belief there has been that if you've had a paranormal experience of some sort, it will then, whether it's like opening a channel, clicking something, triggering something in your brain, I really don't know. But this is what I believe. Now, I'm sorry for the OGs on my channel who've been here from the start, because you will have heard two of these stories once before, or maybe twice before. Just gave Captain. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So there's been a couple of incidents that I went through, and I'll start with the first one. And I think that this is what maybe triggered, I don't know whether it's sensitivity that people have. I've got no idea. I've no idea, but it's, as I said, it is my theory. So, and I'm going to go back a few years. I had not long since passed my driving test. I passed my driving test in, I think it was in the November, and then this was the following August. So I'd have been, well, I was 18, yeah, I'd have been 19. Okay, so I'd gone, there was somebody's coach due that I'd been at sixth form with. They had a coach due. I can't even remember where we went. You're a cheeky get, Brian, November 66. Piss right off. So we went on this coach due. Now, for people in America, I'm really sorry, a coach due. I'm presuming they do it all over the UK, but it's specifically in the Northwest. If it was somebody's birthday, 18th, 21st, whatever, hen night, what have you, you'd hire a coach and fill the coach up, 53 seats or whatever, and the coach would take you off to a nightclub somewhere, and that was your do. You'd go and have your birthday do, your whatever, at the nightclub. So they used to call that a coach do. Okay, so we'd gone on this coach do, can't remember where it was, but it was off out to a different town. Had a really good night, and I ended up meeting this guy. He was a couple of years older than me. I think he was, I don't know, he was about 22, 23, maybe even 24. I remember his name was Tony, really good looking guy. He was following around the club all night like a bloody lapdog. Can I have your number? Can I have your number? Can I have your number? Can I take you out? Can I take you out? And in the end, I said, yeah, all right. Now, he didn't drive. So we made arrangements. I gave him my number. He did ring me. This was probably a week or two later. We met up. Now, we went to, he came from a place called Tilsley, which is kind of, I think it's classed as Manchester, but it's not that far from Leigh and Wigan and all the rest of it. So we went to meet at a pub in between, because at the time I was down the other end of the East Lancs Road. The East Lancs Road is also known as the A580, and it runs between Liverpool and Manchester. Now, I lived in a village called Billinge, and so I wasn't that far away. So this particular night, and it was a Wednesday, and it was in the middle of the August. I can remember that as clear as day, and it was weather very similar to this. It was really, really hot, muggy weather. So I went along up the East Lancs Road, just to the outskirts of Leigh, near a place called Glazebury, and there is a pub just on the edge of just at the side of the East Lancs Road, off a little roundabout, and it's called the Greyhound Hotel. And I met him there, and we had a few drinks. Obviously, I was drinking pop because I was driving, and we stayed there until last orders. The bell rang, and they were kicking us out. Now, as happens when you meet somebody, it was, oh, I don't want to go home yet. Can we go for a drive? And I was like, well, yeah, all right. Can't drive a lot because I'm at work in the morning. But yeah, I didn't want the evening to end. So got in my car, and I said, where should we go? And we were just chit-chatting. And at the time, my dad owned a property in Culcheth, which is on the opposite side of the East Lancashire Road to where we were. So we're just chit-chatting. It's down some country lanes. And I thought, do you know what? I might drive down towards my dad's house because I know this area. And I can, we can drive down, have a little chat and drive back again. And it's not that long. It'll be about 20 minutes, 20 minutes longer for the evening. So in the car we get, there's a roundabout that crosses the East Lancashire Road. We waited till we went across. And as we drove across, the place opposite is called Glazebury. And it's very rural, very pretty. Phil, sorry, welcome Phil Schofield to the chat. welcome. So we ended up in driving down this country lane towards Glazebury, and we're chit-chatting, and all of a sudden he just went, the fuck is that? And directly in front of us, now bear in mind, this is, at this point, it's about midnight, maybe just after, and it's pitch black. And where we are, we're away from there's no street lights. We're away from the lights of the East Lancs Road. We're actually on a dark, windy country lane at this place called Glazebury. And directly in front of us, but just above the tree line, was this, I don't even know how to describe it. The sky was black, but this was even blacker than black. It stood out because it was so dark. And he went, what the fuck is that? And I was like, what? And he was like, follow it. And it was moving very slowly away from us. But I'm thinking that this was an optical illusion, because it must be traveling in the same direction that we're traveling in. So it's making it appear that it is, faster or slower than it actually was. So as we got level with it, and at this point, it's kind of just slightly to the left of the road and directly above us. Now we've got the windows open on the car, and I slowed right down, and this thing's directly above us. It was black. It was triangular. It wasn't, no, I wasn't in second gear, Brian. I did remember to change my gears. It was directly over us. Now, we were just like, it was massive, absolutely massive. And we looked up, didn't hear, and I can tell you now, I didn't hear engines. We didn't see any lights. And it very slowly went over the top of us to the right-hand side. It went over the tops of the trees. It was probably about on a par with the height of the telegraph pole. Hi, Barbara. Come on in. Welcome. Oh, hi, Voodoo. Hello, darling. Sorry if I've missed anyone. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf where I don't talk all the way and keep just, interrupting myself when I'm trying to do my lives, but that hasn't lasted. So this thing went over the top of us to the right, and it went over the field, and there was a field to the right. We're there like gobsmacked, mouths open, going, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden it kind of went, it turned at, I don't know, maybe like a 90-degree angle, and then gone. It literally went. Now, I see, Brian, though, you've put stealth bomber, no noise. Okay, now I told my dad. You all know my dad, he's retired now, but he was in the army. And I was like, Dad, I've seen this thing, and it was this shape. And he's like, oh, it'll be, it's a stealth bomber. Oh, give me a second. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Porky's just going out. If everybody wants to say bye, Porky, fuck you. He's going for a beer with his friends. So this thing kind of went over the field and had gone. So when I told my dad, and he was saying it was the Americans have got all these stealth bombers and what have you. So as time went on, and then we're seeing stuff on the news about in the Gulf and all the rest of it, and you start seeing these triangular planes. What was to Porky? Fuck you. I didn't see what you said, Wicked. Anyway, so I'm thinking, you know, you start to try and convince yourself. I'm trying to rationalize things in my head. So I'm like, yeah, it definitely was a stealth bomber. Absolutely, definitely was a stealth bomber. It was triangular, but there were no lights on it. There were no lights. There was no visible form of. There just wasn't. There were no engine. There was no exhaust. There were no lights. We couldn't see any landing gear. Couldn't see any windows on it. There was absolutely nothing. It was jet black, and the speed that it went, because it was very slowly over the top of us into the field, waited there for a little bit, and then it literally gone. Couldn't even tell you where it went. And you know, over the years since then, I've kind of I've tried to look. Hi, Simples, you're right, darling. I've tried to look to see, you know, were there reports of anything there at that time, and there isn't anything. I've tried to, I don't know. I've just tried to explain it to myself now. I never told anybody about this. I mean, me and this lad, we only had a date. I think we went on one more date, and then that was it. And you know, whatever. But I never mentioned it. And then, as some of you may know, because obviously I was on Twitter for years before I decided to come and start doing things on or interacting with people really on YouTube here. And if you remember this story of the Bigfoot, do you remember the guy I was telling you about who in the 1970s had been a guide in Canada, and they had that incident with the, you know, the guys he'd taken out, and they spent the whole night being basically harassed by Bigfoot on this little island. And it was him. We happened to be talking just privately, and we were chatting about things. And I when I heard where he was, and as I said, he's writing a book because he ended up being a stuntman in Hollywood, and he's got a lot of very good stories. He gave me permission to relay that story to you all. Some of the others I haven't. He has seen the Phoenix Lights as well, Cassius, which is where I then started to think maybe if he's had one paranormal experience, that's opened him up to more. And he happened to say, blah, 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 blah. He's talking about the Phoenix Lights. He was talking about Bigfoot, and he was saying, you know, I've seen a cigar-shaped craft, which I know that is what Green Eyes thought she saw or did see in the outback. And then he said, and those triangular crafts as well. He said, because they were quite common for a couple of years where I live. And at that point I went, whoa, what? And he sent me a link. And when I looked, I thought, oh my God, that's what I saw. That's what I saw. Only I would have thought that, yeah, I don't know. It was, if I had had the wherewithal to draw down what I'd seen, that was what I had seen. And this was all over the internet. And then I started reading about it, and, you know, I was just like, oh my God, and these are being seen everywhere. I mean, I lost touch with that lad. Like I said, we only had a couple of dates, and I wasn't for him, he wasn't for me. Wasn't that bothered. I was going to university. But yeah, it was very, very weird. And it wasn't long after that there was then the experience that you all were told about when my nana died. You've seen. Yeah, Brian, whatever. We're talking about. Were you talking about a cigar or a dog poo? So, yeah, like I see that dog eggs, a nest full of dog eggs you have, Brian, don't you? So, this then got me thinking now, not that long after that was when I had that incident with my nana dying, where I had that I went totally bone cold, at that specific 9 o'clock, bone cold, and at 10 to 10, I was red hot again, like nothing had happened. I mean, I had like coats on and layers and all sorts of things. And then we got a phone call to go to the hospital, and it turned out that she'd had a mitral valve replacement in the hospital. And at 9 o'clock, she was actually due to be discharged that day. And while the consultant was there, the mitral valve, the repair that they'd done, it split. And they fought for 50 minutes to save her. They gave up at 10 to 10. And do not tell me that that is a coincidence, because I didn't know. I didn't know what had happened. So after that, I was thinking, right, okay, so I saw that thing that could have been a UFO, but I don't know what it was, so I'm not going to give it a name. But from seeing that, I then became kind of more sensitive. So I had that issue with my nan. And then a couple of years after that, again, I'm going to go on to the second story, which again, for those who've heard it before, I'm apologising, but this is for, you know, the new members that have come on who haven't heard why I got into this area, this interesting area of the paranormal and cryptids and UFOs and all the rest of it, because we all want answers, don't we? So we're going to fast forward, you know, a few years, and I was in a relationship with this guy, and I got an invite to go up to my dad's. Again, this is the weird thing, because this is in the August, again, the damn August. Went up to see my dad, and my dad, being my dad, decided that he didn't want to put everybody up at the house. He thought everybody, including himself, should camp. So we were all camping on a field which isn't that far from where he lives. Like, it was literally, we could walk it back to my dad's house, but no. He wants everybody camping. He wants it to be like this big camping holiday. So all the relatives and friends were all on this campsite at Camusdarach in the Highlands. And every night, it was beautiful. Again, very hot weather like this. Every single night, people would go down to the there's like a pathway going from the campsite down through to the sand dunes, and from there you could look out over the sea to the islands. So you've got Egram and Muck. They're the three islands that are there. And when the sun sets, and by all means, any of you, please Google it and see exactly how stunning this is. The colours of the sunsets over the islands from that particular vantage point at Camusdarach are like nothing that you'll see anywhere else in the UK. The colours are just out of this world. Purples and reds and blues and oranges, absolutely amazing. So this was the evening thing that people would go down, take photographs, and walk back onto the campsite. Well, this particular night, we hadn't been, because we'd only just got there. Everyone else had been there a week. So this is the first time that my dad and my brothers have met this guy I'm with. And we walked down and we went to watch the sunset with everybody. And then the big crowd, before the sun had gone down, the crowd turned round and they decided to walk back towards the campsite. Now, I'm just going to try and give you a little visual of this. From the camping field at Camusdarach, you go through a little gate. You go down a little pathway, over a beck or a burn, whichever country you want to be in, depending what you want to call it. I don't know what you'd call them in America, like a tiny little stream. It's a little burn in Scotland. But anyway, go over, there's a little, like a hand-cut wooden bridge over that. And then the pathway carries on. Then it comes into some woodland. So it's quite, it's a lot darker and cooler because there's a lot of high trees there. On the left-hand side, this is as you're going towards the beach, there's a huge rock. It is massive, massive on the left-hand side. Then you keep going, you come out of the trees, and then there's a little tiny path of sand going to another gate that you open, and then you're out onto the sand dunes. Okay, and then you walk up the sand dune path to the top of the sand dunes, take your photos, turn round, and reverse journey. So we're all there, big gang of us, out on the sand dunes, taking photographs. Everybody goes back. Me and this one that I was with decided, oh, you know, it's dead romantic, isn't it? Let's have a little kiss and a cuddle watching the sun go down. Totally ignoring my dad going, come on, keep up with us all. I'm like, yeah, we're coming. We didn't, did we? So we realised then that the sound of these voices are all fading because people are getting back to the campsite. And we then can't hear them, and it did go very quiet. And we suddenly realised, actually, this sun's going down pretty quickly. With no lights or anything, while there's still some vestige of light, we better head back. So as we're walking, so we came off the sand dunes, went through the little gate, went across the sand, and we then started into this little woodland. And it was just quiet. Everything was really, really quiet. Like no birds, you know, normally hearing the birds as they're getting ready to get down for the night. There was just nothing. And I started getting the heebie-jeebies. I was really, really freaked out. And I thought, well, I'm not saying anything because I don't want him to think I'm being dramatic. So I was just a bit like, okay, let's just get out of this woodland and get back into the open air as soon as possible. It just had a stale feeling about it. It was very dark and it was very oppressive. And as we came walking a little bit further along, this huge boulder is there now on our right. Now, there's a lot of, I don't know how much is true about it. I'm just going off the local legends around Moray and Mallaig and Camusdarach that there's a lot of dark practices allegedly went on over the years at this particular boulder, you know, things like witchcraft and sacrifices and all the rest of it. And this boulder looks really out of place. I think it was probably deposited, you know, at the end of the Ice Age. It's just so out of place, the gigantic thing. It is absolutely massive. And I just was feeling dread. I can't even to this day explain how terrified I started to feel. My chest was getting tight. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. And it was to the side of, so the boulder started, if you imagine, walking past the boulder. And as you got to the other edge of it, I saw something. And it was near enough the same height as the top of this boulder, which was, I would say it was about 10 foot high, the boulder. I just saw something move behind the boulder. It was like, I didn't see a definition. I didn't see head, arms, anything like that. It was just this very dark shape went behind, and I started to freak out. So I'm just like, come on. So he's going, what's up? And I didn't want him to be in front of me. I wanted him to be behind me. I always have a fear that something is going to get me from behind. You know, like in the dark when you're trying to get home, say you've been on a night out and you're just coming up your path, and for some reason you get a little bit fricky. So you start thinking that you're being followed. So you're getting your keys, and because you're scaring yourself, it kind of escalates, doesn't it? And you start then panicking to try and get your keys in the lock and try and get in the door, and you don't want to look over your back, you know, over your shoulder in case something's behind you. Oh my God. And it was that kind of thing. So I was accelerating this fear, and I wasn't doing it intentionally. Sorry, bear with me a second because the dog has now decided he's going to bark. Sorry about this, guys. In. You're going to bark. Get in. Go. Sorry, knew it wouldn't last. I had to open the door because it's literally like a sweatbox in here. So I am trying to get him to hurry up, and he's behind me. And when he tried to get in front of me, I freaked out. It was like, no, you got to be behind me. And I'm trying to walk faster and faster. And I just felt that there was something at the side of us. I just felt there was something at the side of us that was keeping level with us, just out of sight, just out of earshot. But I could feel it. And I started off, and I'm getting faster and faster. I've got sandals on. I never seem to have any decent form of footwear on. They're like slip on, I don't even know what they were, like slip on mule type sandals. And I just took off. I started and I bolted. I'm running like mad. Now, along this path, because it's dark, there are a few, you know, like rocks that are set into the ground. They're not like loose rocks or anything. They're actually set into the ground. Hi, Lisa. Hi, love. Lovely to see you. These rock things are set into the ground. I hit one in the dark, and you can imagine you're flying along, going as fast as you can. And I used to run quite a lot, so I was pretty quick. He's behind me, trying to keep up. I hit with one of my feet. I hit this rock. I went down like a sack of shit. I bounced up. I left my shoe behind. Didn't even bother to try and get my foot back in it. I think I lost the other one as well at some point along this, but I hit the floor, I bounced up again, and I was just off, and I'm sprinting. I sprinted out of these woods with him close behind me. I hit the gate going on to Camusdarach campsite like a lunatic. My dad, so as you come in, the campsite, the field slopes up away from you. My dad was camped at the top up there. He's there with everybody. I came flying through this gate shouting pathetically, "Daddy!" as you do, or don't. Unbeknownst to me, as I'd hit the floor, I'd basically bursted my face. My nose and my lip were burst. I'd just gone down. And I've also, just above my eye, I've got a scar. Don't shut up, Brian. I can move when I want to. I've actually got a scar where I split my head open. But I didn't know this. I thought I was sweating. It was actually blood running down my face. But again, because I was in such a blind panic, one, I didn't realise I was injured, and two, I didn't give a shit. So I went flying up towards my dad. Now, bear in mind, my brother, he's coming from the right-hand side, from the toilet block and the shower block. All he sees is me coming flying through the gate with blood pissing out of this gash. And I think I've got 5 stitches, either 5 or 6 stitches I've got. I will show you a photo of it if any of you want. I came flying through the gate with blood pissing out all over me, screaming for my dad. And all he does is look at the gate and then sees my ex, Chris, coming through the gate, also looking very shocked. Richard thought we'd had a fight and that he'd hit me. So he crossed the field in about 3 steps, grabbed him by the throat. He's starting to beat the shit out of him. I realised what was happening. So it was a bit like a carry-on film. And then like, no, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Trying to, Richard then calms down. Chris is trying to say, look, mate, I haven't done anything. He's, she's fallen. I don't know what was going on. I was in a right state. So anyway, that was what had happened. Now, we got it all sorted out. I ended up having my bloody head sorted out. Had a 3 steps to my 12. Yes, Brian, I know I'm the shortest in my family. I got the Irish leprechaun gene instead of the lovely willowy towering Viking gene that everybody else got. But whatever, I don't care. Hi, Night Owl. They don't make diamonds as big as bricks. Just remember that, okay? So I then found out later on, I went the next morning with my dad. I didn't sleep. It turns out that my ex had said that he also, he was also sensing something. We just didn't know what it was. I kept feeling like it was an entity, a blackness. It just, yeah. I mean, I'm getting the creepies now. Anyway, I've got, whenever I try and tell this story, I just get goosebumps because it's awful. Because I just remember how scared I was, and all the associated shit that went with it. We had that. We had my brother bloody nearly knocking my fella at the time out. I had everybody, looking at me like I was an idiot because I was a gibbering, blubbering wreck. And I went the next day, my dad had, well, everybody was still asleep and I wasn't. I'd got up and my dad, can you wick? And I can't get my words out. It is Sheila. That's right. Just for anybody new, like Sheila said there, I think this is the story you told us when you had that horrible growling sound back at your old cottage. And it's still on. I can't remember which live it was on that, but it's still on there. I'm talking away and everybody in the chat heard this awful, it was like a demonic growl. It was awful. And I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it until playback. And, everybody else had heard it. And you can hear my dog is asleep. He's breathing. So, it wasn't my dog. I didn't even hear that growl. Oh God, Night Owl, that would really freak me out, love. It really would. So I went for a walk. For a walk. I went down to the Seamen's Mission in Mallaig with my dad for breakfast the next day because he said, "Come on, come with your old dad. Come with your old dad, and we'll have a chat and tell me what happened." And I was telling him, and I said, "I don't know what it was, and it was awful." And and my dad believed me. He's grown up there. He knows of the things that are around there. The other thing as well is that none of the locals will ever go down on that beach at night. And I think that says a lot. If the locals won't go somewhere, it's like somewhere to eat, isn't it? If the locals don't go to a restaurant, there's a reason they don't go. If the locals don't frequent a particular alehouse, there's usually a reason that they don't go. And it's exactly the same about that beach. They go down in the daytime, but you won't find any locals on there at night. Now, my dad was, the dog again, sorry. Coop, stop it, else you're going to be in big trouble. Be quiet. Be quiet. So that's the story. The second thing, they're all in the pub, too pissed to go to the beach. Well, there's not a great deal to do, Brian, up there in the Northwest Highlands. As most people know, I mean, a lot of the young people move out because there isn't anything to do. So, anyway, so that's, and the other little thing I wanted to mention, so this is going to come on the back of the next story that I'm going to relay. Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's the place of my birth, Brian. But there isn't anything to do there, unless you're a fisherman. I mean, Uncle Amy, she's got a fishing boat, and it's not a place for the young and upwardly mobile, shall we say. So after that, we were having a bit of a chat. My dad was telling me, about the wolver, which is the Scottish kind of version of the dogman or a werewolf. However, the wolver is a benevolent creature. It isn't the dangerous, fear-inducing monster that people think dogmen are. That they're quite benevolent. They look after children. They'll look after your crops. You leave some food and milk out for them, and treat them with respect. A bit like the the gnomes or the fairy folk in Scandinavian legend. You treat them with respect, and they will look after you and look after yours. So my dad was telling me about the wolver, and he said that they know when people are well, he's weird, my dad, because he said they know when people are kin to them. And I'm like, well, what are you on about the kin thing? And he said, well, I think, he said, that this creature came with the Vikings. He said came over from Scandinavia because our family name is Old Norse for wolf cub or young wolf. And I know you all know that before. And my dad said, I think there will be an affinity there. And that thing wasn't going to do you any harm, whatever was following you from the beach. it wasn't going to do you any harm. It was protecting you. Now, my dad never liked that guy, never liked Chris, my ex. Didn't like him, couldn't stand him. He said he always had a bad feeling about him, and it turned out that he was right. I'm not going to go into it on here, but he was a wrong un. And he always said afterwards that was making sure that you got whatever that was making sure you got back to me. It wasn't doing anything, but it had a feeling about him. So I'm not going to poo-poo what my dad has said. If that's what he believes, I can't say it's what I believe. I'm open. Yeah, Julia, you have. Julia's had a lot of experiences, for those who don't know. And I am going to pass your email over, Julia, to Nick, so that he can have a chat with you. Because the things that have happened with Julia, for those of you who don't know, they had a UFO experience on the M65 near Blackburn a few years ago. It was it Christmas Day or New Year's Day, Julia? I can't remember. Or Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. It was one of those, wasn't it? Her son has actually got photographic evidence of a grey alien in his room. You can see it behind the chair. You've also got her son and his friend had a lost time experience, and both of them, on New Year's Eve. Thank you, Julia. Both of them, which I hope Declan won't mind me repeating this little bit, Julia. I hope that's okay. But they had a lost time incident. They thought they'd only been out a couple of hours. They were out for hours and hours. When they got home, they both had these marks on the back of the neck, like this scar, both of them. Now, after that, and they could never remember what had happened. No, Simples, no, it was sent to me privately. And that's not my... The thing is, I wouldn't put it up on my channel because people steal things and take things and make money from them. And I think, to be honest, if anybody is to make money from anything like that, it should be Declan, because he's gone through it. And what I was going to say was, after this had happened, Declan had never had any problems, had he, Julia? He developed epilepsy. His friend, who had also had this experience and also had the scars, were in identical places on the backs of the necks, like something had been either cut there, inserted there, what have you. And his friend started suffering some real psychological issues, and he ended up having to go into an institution for a while, didn't he, Julia? So, and then following on from that, after that, Julia's son has then become sensitive. He's had experiences at Salisbury Hall, all sorts of things, the whole family, ever since his, that was right, Julia was put into a mental hospital. So ever since that's happened, Julia's whole family have been subjected to these different experiences. And a little aside, hi Elisa, hello love, don't you worry, just listening, because it's more of a listening thing than anything. That's right, Julia has to be very careful. And since then, the whole family have gone through these different experiences. It's and it's quite traumatic for people when they're having things one after another. And as a little aside, which I'm not sure that this isn't unrelated, Julia's husband knows Alan Godfrey, and he worked with him. Alan Godfrey, if those of you who remember, was the police officer from Todmorden who had the lost time experience, who saw the UFO, who ended up having to leave his career because he was ridiculed by his work colleagues. Nobody believed him. And, it's a shame. So, I don't know if Mick ends up hearing this, or anybody from WIT who may be listening tonight. Give me a shout and I'll put you in touch with Julia, and her husband, because it's some very interesting stories. It is, Janet. It's not, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that link is there. You know, I think something with the Alan Godfrey link now. Yes, there you go. Julie's husband was a security guard around there. I think it's kind of been experiences by association. I think whatever was tuned into Alan Godfrey has kind of attached itself to your husband, and as a result of that, your son and you. Yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm not an expert. I don't know, but that's what I think. So I'll pause for a second. Has anybody got any questions? Got to run, catch up. Oh, okay, darling. Thanks for coming in, Voodoo Queen. Thank you so much. And for those of you who don't know, Alan Godfrey is supposed to be in the process of making a film about his experience. So, you know, can't wait to see that. And I guess it's going to be along the lines of, you know, maybe Fire in the Sky, the Travis Walton story, because he's actually, or he was, in talks with Travis Walton about making a movie documenting his experience. So I think that would be really interesting. What Sheila's saying here, Julia, I think your family is fascinating. I'm convinced you and your son are very sensitive to supernatural, paranormal things. They are, Sheila. They absolutely are. And again, you know, you have one experience, it opens you up. You know, Wiccan said the same thing. Do we like being sensitive to different things once we've had an experience? I suppose it depends on your outlook. Personally, me, no, I don't. I find it quite troubling. And when I tell you this final story that we're going to end up with, so I'll save that for a little while. Then you'll see why I'm not happy about, you know, the experiences and what I've been opened up to. What's Brian said? There was a fellow near Broxburn seen a UFO, ended up in hospital with burns from inside out as if he'd been in a microwave. I'd not heard about that, Brian. Wow. Janet, things happen for a reason. I dread to think what could have happened to you with the boyfriend your dad didn't like. Well, some of it kind of did, Janet. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it on here. But yeah, my dad was totally right, and it did make me think that, yeah, whatever that thing was, I'm going to take my dad's explanation for it. I think so as well. My auntie is sensitive to seeing things around ghosts. Oh, is Julia? Wow. Lisa, my mother and myself were very sensitive to certain situations that were at times unpleasant. Oh, so kind of what, like ghosts or something, Lisa? You don't have to go into detail if you don't want to. Oh, so not many people know about it, Brian. Was it not documented in the news or anything? The majority of things don't want to do us any harm. Oh, there you go. Cassie's heard about that guy as well. I've not, actually. I hadn't, and it happened in the early 70s. Shit. You see, these stories from the 70s and whatnot, and the 60s, I always give those slightly more credence than modern day ones, because back then nobody wanted to talk about it. Now it's a little bit more acceptable for people to talk about experiences with ghosts and dogmen or the paranormal, poltergeists, UFOs, aliens, skinwalkers. You know, it's more, but back then it wasn't at all. I mean, look at the Travis Walton incident. You know, they were actually going to charge his friends with murder. They thought he'd murdered him. You know, nobody. They passed the polygraph tests. You know, one man didn't pass it, but he didn't fail it. It was just, you know, unreadable. He said it was all over the place. It's staring because of the way he seemed to be internally cooked. Oh God. My mum has passed now, but she was sensitive to something more sinister than ghosts. Oh, right. I get you now, Lisa. Thank you. Janet says you were classed as nutty if you brought up anything paranormal back then. It does sound scary, doesn't it, Sheila? I mean, they say there are more things in heaven and on earth than than we know or than we realise. Yes, Lisa, yeah. The one that we covered, the Enfield poltergeist. Yeah, now internal combustion. I'm not sure what I feel about that. It's definitely paranormal, but I don't know in what way it's paranormal. I don't know if it's an entity. I don't know if it's something internal. I'm not quite decided on that. I don't think for a second that it's not real. You know, there's been too many experts who have looked at it and said that it absolutely is a real phenomenon, but I don't know what causes it. Oh, you were told you were too scary. The things you'd know, you were a weird kid. I know, I was just going to say that, Brian. What do you mean was? Dear me. So I don't know what does anybody have any thoughts on things like internal combustion? Hang on, is that what it's called? No, it's not. Sorry, I was thinking then internal combustion. I'm thinking about engines. Spontaneous human combustion. That's what it is, isn't it? Spontaneous human combustion. Thanks, Sheila. Yeah, I knew there was something. So chemicals in the body. There's a story. I don't know if some of you may or may not remember it, and I'm going off the top of my head. Yes, Brian, they do. It was a good few years ago. There was a girl, I think she was at something like sixth form college. They had a cookery class, something like domestic science or food tech or whatever it is they call it now. She was walking down the stairs. She still had her apron on, and all of a sudden burst into flames from the apron at the front. So they managed to pat it out, and it stopped, and they were thinking, oh, maybe a little flame or a little spark of something while they were cooking had jumped into the pinny and had been sitting there smouldering and had burst into flames. Okay, that was the initial thought. And then a bit later on, the same thing happened again, only she didn't have the apron on this time, burst into flames. And I think this happened 3 times in total. That like I said, my memory, it's not served me very well on this, but I don't know whether it was that serious that she died in the end. And it was as though whatever wanted, a bit like Final Destination, she was supposed to burn and she didn't. It was stopped. So they tried to burn her again and it didn't, and it was stopped, but it got her in the end. It was that kind of thing. Very, very strange thing, which made me think, like Sheila's just put, maybe lightning or an electrical surge. That's why I don't think that, because of how it happens. And also the burning, don't forget, these people, they set on fire, they'll be basically turned to cinder and ash in the chair, but yet they'll have one leg that's still perfectly fine. And the heat that would have been generated by this body to turn it to ash like that, but it hasn't damaged the chair they're sitting on or the wall behind them. The stigmata, Lisa. Well, I mean, the best. Who was it? Was it? It was St. Francis of Assisi, wasn't it? Who was supposedly the first stigmata sufferer. All I know is Padre Pio. He's the most recent modern. I don't know when he died. Was it the 60s or something? Might have been later. But Padre Pio, he had stigmata. The only thing is with the stigmata is that it always shows in the hands, which is the old opinion of where the nails would have been driven through the hands of Jesus. But they've now proved that no, they wouldn't have been. The nails would have been driven through the base of the palm and through the bones to cause excruciating pain as well, because it would have hit that nerve that control the thumb. So the stigmata, yeah, they will have the hole in the side, the hole in the feet, they're fine, but the ones in the hands are always how the crucifixion was depicted rather than the actual place that these nails would have been, you know, that they would have been situated. So I don't know, I'm thinking because of the holes being in hands, that it would be like kind of, I don't know, psychosomatic. Would that be the right word to use? I don't know what you guys think about it. I mean, you know, you had like Padre Pio, his hands were having to you know, be dressed daily because of the amount of blood that he lost, but yet he wasn't suffering from anemia. He didn't die through blood loss. Wouldn't they have gone through the wrist? Yes, Lisa, they did. They proved that the nails would have had to go in order to support the body, because if they'd have gone through the hands, they would have just torn free. So when they found, you know, the remains of crucifixion victims, the remains of the nails are through the wrists. Or the statues that bleed from the eyes or tears. Yes, YouTube lady, that's correct. You know, that there are all these different things we don't know. You know, I mean, I've heard some people saying that they think things like that are demonic, but do I think that? No. But I do think that the hands, the holes in the hands, are a bit suspect for me. You know, does the power of faith or what have you, could that manifest those injuries? Because they're not self-inflicted. They are actually, you know, they do just appear, but are they appearing because the person suffering from it is willing it? I don't know. I don't know. So, here we go. Bear with me for a second. So I'm just going to I'm going to have to plug the phone in because it's going flat again. We'll never know the full truth about who is out there. We won't, Brian. Yeah, YouTube lady, they did. Yeah, that's been proven. You know, and also if you look at the Turin shroud, because I don't think that is a fake, and that is showing the backs of the wrists, is showing where that's where the nails would have gone through. So not the hands, it would have been the backs of the wrists. Yeah, it could have, Lisa, because, you know, you've got things like, you know, the plagues, the plagues of Moses, and that you know, saying that the Nile, it ran red with blood and people couldn't drink it and so on and so forth. But, you know, that there are theories that it could have been some form of an algal bloom that looked like blood, and they've shown examples of this, you know, in other watercourses. So there are sometimes there are plausible explanations. A lot of the times there aren't, but so I guess I'm going to have to tell you all what we were discussing the other night, haven't I? I obviously didn't say anything on Thursday because I wanted you all to go over and check on Mick McLaren's channel, you know, and give him the view and what have you. So I didn't want to take away some views from him by telling you about my stories before you'd had a chance to go over, sub, and watch what he had to say. So, what's it? Probably sulfate, which usually runs orange. Okay. Now, oh, Lisa, this link is for a channel I think you will enjoy. It's a lady that rescues bunnies and she has them running around the garden as she goes live, but she talks about unconventional stuff. Oh, that sounds quite interesting. There it is, Penny Bunny. Fabulous. Ooh. Right. Oh, the one that we did, Lisa, because they're still, obviously all my lives are still up. Apparently, according to some people, I remove them, but you know, that's a load of shite. So yeah, you'd have to. I tried to put them all into different playlists. So the Enfield Poltergeist stuff will be in the one that's I forget what it's called. Is it called Poltergeist or is it called the Paranormal? Enjoyed Mick on panel, went over to watch, and he has some other people too that are interested with their channels. Yes, they are. So two of them I put up before. We've also got one of the members of the Windhill investigation team, Kaz the Witch. She's joined here as well. So hopefully, you know, if you see her in chat, welcome her in. So there's Noel, there's Lee, Mick, there's another guy. Is it Mark, Mike? Hang on, I will tell you. All people that, you know, if they pop in, please give them a sub. Sorry about this. I'm trying to get myself organised, and as always, I'm not very. Right. Oh, where are you? There you are. Right, I'm going to tell you the other guy's name, if you bear with me a second. Right, we've got a guy called, is it Darren Haynes, I think the guy's name is. Yes, Darren Haynes. So he's another new guy who's come over. Yeah, I mentioned Kaz the Witch. Oh, we had another somebody called Tino, Light Hazzles. They're new as well, so they've subbed. Oh, you've just subbed and you're gonna right. Okay, so without further ado, I shall tell you my story. Now, obviously, still go over to Mix, have a listen there, because it was the interview. I will try not to waffle too much, but you know me and me waffling, I can't help it. Right, so I'll set the scene for you all. Back in 2012, and it was the Queen's Jubilee, and they were lighting the beacons. You know, all the as I've explained once before, anybody who's watched Lord of the Rings, the Kingdom of Rohan, and they light all the beacons, and they you know, it's for hundreds of miles. On the top of every mountain, there's a beacon lit, and that was the way that they used to alert that basically the whole country. They had them for the Armada, you know, when the Armada was invading back in the 1500s. So the beacons were lit right across the land, and this was the old way of communicating before phones or telegrams or you know, anything like that. Oh, right, bear with me, I'm just moving the fan in. So we decided, because we heard that they were going to light the beacons, and at the time I lived in a village called Brinskull. So a couple of my friends came over, and we made an afternoon of it, really. So, you know, I did a bit of a buffet, and we were eating, and we'd had fairy cakes and what have you. And we all decided we'd go up to Great Hill because the beacons were being lit in Cumbria, up at Pendle, on Rivington, and I think North Wales, and you could see from the top of Great Hill, especially on a clear day, you can see all the way around. You can see as far as Snowdonia when it's clear. So we decided we'll actually go up there because there isn't one of the beacons being lit there. It's probably going to be less crowded and we'll be able to see all the beacons from, you know, in a 360. So before it went dark, we went up there. So I had a big old 7-seater Land Rover Discovery at the time. So we had my old dog Murph and my friends. I'm not going to, out of respect for them, because I don't have their permission to give their details, I'm going to call my friends by their initials. So my friend L and my friend R. And we all were friends. We've worked together and we're friends. So we got in my car, we took my dog Murph, and R used to have a little Cairn Terrier called Millie. So she brought the dog and I drove us up from me, where I used to live on School Lane in Brinskull. We drove up Well Lane, which is a really steep road. Now, I used to run up that every morning. God, I must have been mental. I drove to the top of there. I parked my Land Rover. There's like a little parking area near the Kissing Gate. And from there, we walked across the moors up to Great Hill. And it's probably a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles. No, I'm going to say a mile and a half from the gates up to Great Hill. So we'd taken with us. It was a lovely warm day. So we had on like shorts, and I had like these 3/4 length jeans on, probably not even 3/4 length. They were just below my knee, and flip flops. What an idiot! My other two friends were similarly dressed. We took a bag up with like crisp and pop and cakes and biscuits. We thought we'll have a little bit of a little party up there, while we're there, and we'll take the two dogs. Now, we were passing people coming down the path saying hello and blah, blah, blah as we walked up there. And it's all open moors right across. You can see over to White Coppice Gorge. This is where in 2011, there'd been the terrible moors fires. So it was still kind of recovering at that point. Anyway, off we set and we walked along. We see some people. I saw people that I knew from the village on the way down, saying, why are you not stopping to watch the beacons? Oh no, can't be arsed, going home, going to have a few beers, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. We get up to Great Hill and we're sitting around. Now, as we get up, before that, as we are approaching Great Hill, and it's fairly, it's a flattish path all the way up, and it's kind of loose mini rocks, all the way down. And as you're going to Great Hill, and then it goes up quite steeply. And as we got to this steep part, so we came past some old ruins on the left-hand side, and as we came past there, and we get to the pathway that goes up to Great Hill itself, there were a crowd of sheep. Now, the sheep that are wild grazed all over the moors up there, the farmers turn the sheep out, and they have the lambs up there, and then they'll bring them in, at the back end of the summer before the winter starts. So there's this crowd of sheep, and they weren't for moving. Now, my friend was a bit worried because her little Cairn Terrier was a bugger, and she didn't want her to chase the sheep, and really worried in case the dog would get shot or something. So my dog, because I came from a farm and my dogs had been trained to work livestock, so I used Murph to send the sheep off and chase them away. So he went into working mode, chased the sheep away, whistled him, and he came back. But the damn sheep came back again. So sent him off again, chased the sheep away they went, whistled the dog, he came back. A couple of minutes later, the whole bloody lot of the sheep came back. So 3 times we had to do this, sent the sheep away. The 3rd time they stayed away. Not as far as I would have liked, but they were far enough to not be a temptation to ours dog. Right, so that being done, we get to the very top of the hill, and there's the kind of like stone seats in a cross shape. So we're on there and we're having a giggle and we're talking and we're gossiping, and the dogs are running around playing. Murph's peeing on everything, and a guy appeared and he walked up. He was on his own. looked like he was going for a full day's hike. He had like a head torch with him. He had a rucksack, all the proper walking gear. And we got chatting to him, and he said he'd just come up. His idea had been the same as ours, that he wanted to be where it wasn't too busy, so he could see all the beacons. So, we gave him some pop, and he helped himself to a cake, and he's chatting away. And I think he took a bit of a shine to my mate R, and she was recently single. So yeah, she's having a bit of a chat back with him. And the next minute, a bloody big gang came up the gorge from White Coppice, and a load of lads and one girl. And the one girl turned out to be one of our work colleagues. We didn't know she was going to be up here. She didn't know we were going to be up there. We were like, oh my God, what's the odds of that? Because she's actually from Preston. So we're having a laugh. Anyway, they'd brought a load of beers with them. So this turned into a bit of a party, and it's still light, and we've got some music, a radio on, we're having a dance, we're having a sing song, everybody's gossiping, very noisy. We weren't quiet in the slightest, but there was no one to upset. And then it started to get darker, and then it happened that the beacons were lit, and I can't remember what time that was. Might have been 10 o'clock, something like that, I don't know. But anyway, the beacons were lit, and we watched it, and everybody was enjoying themselves. And then little bit longer we stayed, everybody had a chat, we finished off the drinks, and they finished off all the beers, and we tidied up and then decided to head back down. Now, I can't remember what time it was, and I'm going to say it was about midnight. I wasn't clock watching, I just don't know. It was pitch black, and there was a full moon that night. That's all I can tell you. I know it was a full moon because when it came for a little tiny portion of the evening, the moon was behind a cloud, and it was kind of the only cloud in the sky, and then the moon was out. So it wasn't as pitch black as it normally is up there, because it's ink black. There is no light pollution. And we were realizing stupidly, how could we have forgotten the damn torch? So we all headed down from Great Hill down this steep path to get onto the main track. And this guy who had come up on his own, he's really getting into chatting my mate up, and he had this amazing head torch on. It must have cost him a fortune, but it was brilliant. So we were having a laugh and a joke with him, like, oh God, look at this, 3 women who come completely unprepared, flip-flops and no head torch, and all we brought with us was crisps and pop. And I asked him where he was parked up. Well, he was parked in Brinskull Village. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you don't mind lighting the path for us and escorting us down, I'll give you a lift from the gate down into the village, because I've got my Land Rover parked up here. And he's like, oh yeah, deal. So him and R are behind us, and they're chatting away. The other gang who had come at White Coppice Gorge with our friend from work, her boyfriend and all his mates, and her dog, funnily enough, we all set off back down, and then there's a fork in the road, or in the track, and it goes off to the left. And they all went down the left because they're going to go down White Coppice Gorge. So there's loads of shouting, see him work, blah, 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 safe journey, all the rest of it. And down they went. And I was laughing about it because that path's treacherous at the best of times. They were all pissed, So I was thinking, like, somebody's going to break the neck or fall down the gorge, Jesus. And that was fine, and we were giggling away. So we carried on walking, and all of a sudden, because my dog Murph and Millie, they were kind of mooching about in front of us, and I'm chatting to Elle, my friend, and we're laughing about our other friend behind us with this guy going, oh, I think she's pulled, and all the rest of it. And I'm looking to her, she's on my left. Now, the way I was on my right was a slope, quite a steep slope. On the left was the open moorland going down towards White Coppice Gorge. So we're walking along, and we can hear in the distance, our friend and all her friends, they're getting further and further away and quieter. There were a couple of torches that I don't know whether they were head torches or hand torches that they had, but we could kind of see the lights bobbing, and then eventually it vanished. And I kind of heard this, there was like a growl that came, and I was thinking, the hell was that? And that sounded like quite far down the gorge, kind of where they were. And I thought, oh, maybe it's A's dog was with them. Maybe it was her, and she'd had a bit of a grumble. And I walked into Murphy was stopped on the path, little spaniel tail up like a bloody poker, stiff-legged, and he is just looking ahead. I'd kind of just walked straight into him, and he's just making this really low, like, noise. It wasn't a full-on growl. It was like a rumble. So I was thinking, what the hell's up with him? So I kind of kicked him up the arse a bit, the back of my foot, like, come on, lad, shift yourself. And he started to do this really stiff-legged kind of walk, and he's looking off slightly to the left. And my mate's yakking away and what have you. And I heard this growl, and I just went, for fuck's sake, shut up a minute. And she went, what? I said, did you not hear that? She went, no, what? And as she said that, it did it again. So at this point, she went, I heard that. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I thought it was a dog. I was convinced there was a stray dog down to the left of us, so it's nearer to my friend than to me, down in the undergrowth on the moors. Oh, hi, Rav. Sorry, I'm looking at I've not been watching the chat. If anyone else has come in, I'm really sorry for not seeing you. So I was thinking, shit, this is a dog that's loose. Now, Murph, he liked a bit of a fight. He had nothing to back it up with, but if it was a male dog, he wouldn't fight with females, but if it was a male dog, yeah, it was like 10 pints. So I had to watch him. So I was really worried, thinking, oh, shit, we're in the pitch black here. I've got my dog off lead. I'm thinking, do I put him on his lead? What do I do? But no, if a dog appears from nowhere, shit. And all these things are rushing through my brain. And I turn round to see where the other two were. They're behind me. And obviously they're chatting away. They don't look like they've heard anything. Me and my friend are a bit freaked out. Looks behind. Now, at this particular point, as I go to turn back, the lad who's talking to my friend R must have turned his head towards it. And the light from his head torch lit the road up at the track we were on in a big arc. And as he did that, I saw something go from the left, which was kind of... the moors is slightly dropped below the level of the track we were on. I saw something go from the left-hand side across, just out of the light of the head torch, from the left-hand side across the path. And I just got the bulk going kind of round this bend, which was to my left, this high bank. And I just for a split moment, I thought it was a cow, just the size of it and the shape of it and the front end of it, the bulk. That's all I saw, was just this, just gone. And I was like, what the fuck? And my dog is doing this stiff-legged kind of stalk walk. And I'm thinking, shitbags. I'm not happy about this at all. These two behind us, they've closed the gap at this point, and they're not aware of this at all. So I am shaking. Sorry about this, because I can feel my voice going again, because this also is like the one in Scotland. And it does, my mouth's going dry. Bear with me, I'm going to have to take a mouthful of something. Give us a sec. Sorry, guys and gals. So we carried on walking, and I'm trying to say to Elle, just, oh God, what the hell was that? And she's like, I've got no idea. And you know how you do, and you're talking things, and I'm thinking, right, I'll watch the dogs. And the dogs seem to be okay. They kind of had relaxed a little bit. So I'm thinking, right, okay. Now what had happened was Murph was going all stiff-legged and gone in defense mode. But Millie was kind of round the side of him. I mean, this is a Cairn Terrier, and Cairn Terriers, as anybody who knows dogs will know, they are not frightened of anything. They're little dogs, and they have got courage to burn. And her little stumpy tail was tucked right under her arse, and she was cringing and making this real sad whimpering sound. It just was awful. Anyway, the dogs, this carried on for a little bit, and then you could see them relax. And I thought, right, okay, maybe this dog has vanished or whatever it is. And I'm not trying to think about what I have just seen. And I'm rationalizing it at this point, thinking there must be a cow up here on the moors. And, we have heard stories about you know, big cats up there. There's the story about the Paddy and Panther, which some of you may or may not have heard about, but I mean, that's going back for quite a few years. So we're carrying on walking, and we came round the bend, and as we come to the open moor, and then there he is again. Murphy's he's just not having any of this. He is stiff-legged, and he's looking from the right-hand side, which is where I saw this thing go, and then very slowly and looking to the left-hand side of the track. We've got the dogs on the lead at this point because I'm like, what the fuck is this? And all the way down then, so probably talking a mile in the pitch black, we've got the dogs looking from left to right and from right to left. And my heart is coming out of my chest, and I am feeling like super twat because what am I being frightened of here? What am I being frightened of here? What am I being frightened of? You stupid cow, you stupid cow. That's all I'm thinking is just stop it. Just calm down. You're making yourself worse, which unfortunately I started. It's only as I've gone over things more recently is I do remember thinking back to how frightened I was at Camusdarach. I didn't think about what I'd seen. I just remembered that awful fear, and that was it again. It was that same awful spine-tingling fear that I was feeling going down this track. So we get down nearer to the bottom. Now, at this point, the end is in sight. We're not that far away from the gate, and the car is just the other side of it. Now, on the left-hand side of us, the moors open up, and there is an old, there is a ruin of a farmhouse over there. It's quite over, and then the plantation starts. The forest is the other side of a little fence. And but this is set back, and I was trying to work out how many. I'm terrible with feet or what have you, and I think when I discussed this with Mick, I said, was it about a football field away? And he reckoned it's something like that. Don't forget now, this is full moon, and it was bright. It was a very bright moon, and as I'm talking, and I just turn around to like get these people to hurry up because I'm feeling really, really nervous now. And as I turned, I'm facing the direction of these ruins, and I saw something jump, and it went from the right-hand side over. There's like a low wall in these ruins. It went from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And in the time I said that, just below me, off the path, in the undergrowth, I heard this fucking growl, and I kid you not, now, was it the same one? Because if it was, it had cleared that distance in no time at all. If you could feel, honest to God, you should feel my heart is going like mad now. I'm really sorry, guys. I took off, and I unclipped the dog, and I fucking bolted, and my flip-flops, anyone who's ever tried running in flip-flops, it's virtually impossible. Now try running in flip-flops on a dirt track that's got loads of loose stone and bits of mini rock all over it. You will imagine I didn't lose my flip-flops. I absolutely shredded my toes. I mean, to the extent that it looked like I'd undergone torture. My toes, my nails on my toes, I can't even tell you the damage I did to them. I bolted with my dog right at my heel. I got to the kissing gate. I virtually vaulted it. I just wanted to get through, and I'm screaming at this lot, will you fucking run? Nobody's got a clue what I'm kicking off about, apart from Elle. She'd heard this. We got in my Land Rover, got all the, the other three in there, got the dogs in, booted it, went down Well Lane, got back to my cottage, said ta-ra to this guy. I am shaking. I'm absolutely shaking. We got in the cottage, cracked open. Obviously, the wine gets, the wine's coming out now. I think I cracked the whiskey open. The Bailey's got opened. I am knocking these back. Trying to relax. I then said to R, did you hear what we heard? Because when I'd asked her I missed that little bit out. When I'd asked her up on the track and said, did you two hear anything? They're both like, no. When we got back, she admitted that, yes, she had heard something, but because this guy was chatting her up and they were about to exchange phone numbers, she didn't want to say she'd heard anything in case he thought she was a twat. Cheers, mate. Right, so the more the night went on, the more we're convincing ourselves then that it wasn't as scary. It was just the fact it was dark, it was full moon. We were giving ourselves the whole fricky heebie-jeebies over nothing. And it was just a dog and whatever. And that was the end of it. Now, it was a bank holiday weekend. And when we next went into work, I saw our other friend who had gone down White Coppice Gorge with her boyfriend and the gang of his pals that were there. And when I'd asked her, just kind of, did anything odd happen when you were down? Because obviously we'd heard that growl from coming down at the bottom of the valley. And it turned out that one of their party, all the way down the gorge, he kept saying that something was stalking them. He felt like someone or something was in the undergrowth, just out of sight, stalking them all the way down the gorge. So it's made me think, were there two of whatever it was, or was it one that had run between us? I don't know. I absolutely don't know. All that I do know is that I would never, ever go back up there again on my own. When I met Mick and his partner, Carol Ann, I wouldn't, even though I had my dog with me, I wouldn't get out the car until they were there. I just wouldn't do it. Even in daylight, I won't do it. And then to hear from Mick the other day that these woods, so where I saw whatever it was, and I don't know what it was that I saw jump. I don't know. All I'm going to tell you is how frightened I was. The plantations that I'm just talking about now, they're what Mick had said are now known as Dogman Woods, which I didn't know. That is where I recorded the sound with Cooper, where he's freaking out. And I know that I sent it to Mick. If I've still got it, I'll post it and let you all hear and see what you think. So yeah, that's the one thing that I didn't tell anybody. Janet had heard it. She had gone on and subbed to Mick's channel before I had him up as a guest, and she'd heard the story on there. Obviously I'm rushing through it a bit quick because I am actually getting really fricky, because my heart is hammering now. Hi, Frida. So that's my that is my experience, or they're my 3 experiences. So I don't know what you think of that. And this is what you see, I never mentioned anything to anybody, and we never talked about it. My other 2 friends, Elle will talk about it, R will not. She never wants to discuss it again. So I didn't tell anybody about it. My ex, but he was just saying, you're full of shit. as men do. So we just didn't talk about it. And then I came across, purely by chance, I think it was either 2019 or 2020, I can't remember, I came across a podcast by an associate of Mick's. And what was being described on there was exactly what I had experienced. So I sent her an email and I just said, I can't believe that what you have just described, this story that you have just told for one of your subscribers. I went through the same thing in 2012 and I've never told anybody about it. Never. So she then got back in touch with me and took my details down and then sent me an email and said, look, can I pass your details on to Mick? He's investigating these kind of experiences that are occurring all around the Winter Hill area. And I said, yeah, okay. And that's how I got to know Mick. So Let's have a little look and see what you're all saying. No, Janet, I haven't. The only thing that happened is the recording that I sent to Mick. It was probably about 3 or 4 months after I did my first interview with him, and I was in Brinscall Woods, which he's now saying is called Dogman Woods. And I recorded what I thought was possibly a deer, but the way that Cooper was reacting to it was totally alien, because if he hears deer barking, he'll go after them. He chases them. He always has done. He won't kill them or try and hurt them, but he'll chase deer. And this one, he wasn't. And if I can find the recording, the video that I made, I'll let you all decide. You see what you think, because this is why I brought up to Mick the other day, and I said, do you think that they could possibly mimic deer or cows or sheep or something to try and draw you in? Because that, to me, what was going on in the woods was not a deer, not the way that Cooper was reacting. He doesn't give a shit. He's chased deer since he was a puppy. He's not frightened of them in the slightest. You will see if I find the video how frightened what you could see was frightened. He was on the defensive straight away. So let us go back and see what you've all said. So Julie, you don't let fear in. You go into what you call robot mode. You're not yourself. You just do that every time you're stressed as well. I don't know. Yeah, at the minute, I've got palpitations. So I've answered Janet's question that I haven't seen. I think and I think that Deb, who took my initial interview, Janet, or my not my interview, my account, she said, you know, maybe there was more than one. So you go looking for the paranormal Wiccan, but I don't. It frightens me. Right, what we're saying. Let's have a little look. Right, sounds like the hokey cokey. What's this? Oh, hang on, what am I missing? What am I missing? Oh, God. Right, there's too far back, so I don't know what we're all talking about. Right, I'm giving up trying to go back through chat. So, if anybody wants to know anything, please ask. I'm here all night. Ish. Oh, your daughter was on the phone. So, you've all had it. So, as you can see, that kind of sparked an interest in me, because up to then, I didn't have a name to put to what I'd think I'd seen, or what I felt that I'd seen or experienced. I don't know, Janet. I don't think it did. I can't say it didn't, but I don't think it did. I mean, I lived where I lived. I was right near the woods anyway, the very bottom of Brinscall Woods. So, you know, it would have been easy enough for whatever it was, if it wanted to come down through those woods and looking through my back window. It's quite disconcerting, actually, if you think about it. The size I thought it was, Sheila, I thought it was a cow. I genuinely thought it was a cow. And then I was like, shit, there aren't any cows up here. But that was my first thing. The first growl, I thought there was a wild, like not wild, a stray dog up there, you know, mooching about, and had been kind of attracted to us all laughing and joking and the food and what have you. But then when I saw it pass from the left to the right across the front of the trap when it was lit up by the head torch, my first thought was it was a cow. That's all I can say. But it wasn't a cow. But that was my first thought. No, Julie, it was a different cottage. Where I lived in 2012, I lived in a village called Brinskull, and that's where this happened when we were up on the moors. No, where I heard the growl, that was my last cottage at the last village that I lived in. So I'd moved from Brinskull in 2013. You've got your dogman lying next to you. My dogman's lying on the sofa, Brian. Sheila, how big do you think a hip? Oh, friggin' hell. Hi, Kindness Cake. Hello. Been listening from the start. So interesting. You're a great narrator. Love all the paranormal mystical. Oh, thank you, Kindness. That's really kind of you. I'm just trying to see. Have you? Oh, you haven't got, right. You need a wrench, love. We always give everybody wrenches who come in our chat, unless you're a skank, and we don't have skanks in mine. So let me only ask if it was a bad sheet, but you kind of get an idea of size even in the dark. Do you know the best kind of size I would say, Sheila, is because they're not that big. Has anybody seen you know the Heelan coos? That the shaggy Highland cows, that kind of size. They're not massive. They're not like great big normal cows. They're a bit smaller. I would say that kind of size. So there you go, Kindness. You should now be part of the Blue Crew. So yeah, it's no, I never felt like it followed me back. I just never felt comfortable back up there again. The funny thing is, I forgot to tell you about this as well. Yes, it was Janet. I never saw anything up on two legs, like people say. That's why I'm still going to be open-minded. But having heard the description that was on Deb Hatswell's channel, was exactly my experience, and that then started me, because that was the first time I ever heard the word dogman. So then I started to you know, watch anything I could about them. You know, I'd watch Vic Cundiff, I was watching Jeff Nadolny, I was watching Dixie Cryptids, all sorts of things, just so that I could, you know what it's like if you've got an illness, you start like looking at everybody else who's got the same illness, just to see if all your symptoms are the same and how quick they recover. And it's the same with this. All I wanted to do was hear what other people's experiences were like and take from that what was like my experience, or if I was, because I didn't, I still want being, you know, I'm a scientist, for Christ's sake, you know. I want to have a rational explanation for it. Oh gosh, no, a lot bigger than my little horse, Sheila. We're talking, if you were looking at horse size, hang on a sec. Toots, stop it. Stop. I think you would be looking, right, if you were to stand up, I don't know what height you are, Sheila, but if we go my height, so I am 5'2", to my shoulder, I am, if I were to measure a horse, I'm 13'2", 13 hands 2 to my shoulder. Okay, that would be, it was a little bit taller than that. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem, Kindness, not a problem. We can sort that one out. It's just I never like to leave anybody out. So I didn't want you to feel left out, but that's absolutely fine. No, you're not. No, it's not at all. To be honest, nobody has any responsibility anyway. This started off because some sad arse made a comment about everybody in BAM's chat. You know, the only people in BAM's chat are the mods. So when I started doing lives in here, which incidentally, for, you know, the idiot who decided to post a stupid bloody thing before, claiming that I removed a video that I'd made about fishwives when BAM went offline, and the fact that my channel only started up after BAM went offline. So you know, I don't have a time machine, you stupid drunken mess. So yeah, so basically that's why I started saying, right, everybody who comes in, nice people, you can have a wrench, so that everybody in my chat's a mod. And it was basically an FU, so that's all it was, kind of. So no, there's no offense taken or whatsoever. See, like Julie, she doesn't even know how to use the wrench. To be fair, we're quite lucky, really. We very rarely get any of those scroats coming in here, so it's absolutely fine. Yes, it was, Sheila. It was big. I know, Janet. That's it. When I heard that, you know, it was that these things could stand up on two legs, I was thinking, oh my God, if that's what I was to see, oh my God. And that's why I just didn't ever want to go back up on the moors. I just didn't, because I didn't know what it was. And I must admit, again, is this because of my overactive imagination? Maybe. But Mick said, when you saw it, or when it was stalking you down, what was the first thing that you thought of? What was the first thing that came into your head? And I just went, American Werewolf in London. That's all I could think. Keep off the moors. Stick to the path, keep off the moors. And yeah, it just, I'm getting the fricks again. Yeah, we're lucky, really. You know, you don't tend to. It's. I think people have only had to use the wrenches in here, I think, twice, haven't they? We got some prawn links coming in one time, and I know exactly who was responsible for that, dickhead. And then, like the last time, your mum is deeply connected to the spirit world. She has been since she was a child. The house we grew up in is very haunted. Even our cats could sense and say, well, animals are so sensitive, aren't they, kindness? Are you in the UK or a different country? You don't have to say where you are. I just wasn't sure. Hope they stay in the woods and don't wander around. Julia, the problem is, though, look at all the stories out of America. They do wander around. Look at Lady Witch's story. Hers happened in a park, in a town. She wasn't in the middle of nowhere. She wasn't in the countryside. She was in the town. You know, it's now. Why are they coming out of the town, out of the countryside and into towns? I'll tell you something else as well. I watched something the other day, and I was actually. It made me think. Wow. All right, okie dokie. Thanks, love. I thought I wasn't sure for some reason. I thought you were in America. Now you know that the link I posted earlier for that Noel's Way Paranormal. Oh, have you not, Janet? Right, that's in my Dogmen, playlist. If you go and watch that. Hi, Helen. How are you, my love? Hope you're all right. Lovely to see you. I bet you're marking, aren't you? I forgot what I was going to say then. Oh, just got completely sidetracked, as always. It doesn't take much with me, does it? No, it's completely gone. The thing is, kindness, you'll have to remind me because I'll forget. And if you come in again next time, I'll go, oh my God, kindness hasn't got a wrench, and I'll forget and give it you again. And you'll probably have to tell me I don't want it. So I am sorry, but I've got the memory of a goldfish. Oh, here she is, Lady Witch. Personal opinion, easy hunting of small game, birds, squirrels, etc. Oh, thank you, Lady Witch. You've just reminded me. Okay. So, you know, people are talking about they don't find, you know, these things don't exist because you never find the bodies. Right. That channel I put in at the beginning, asking you to give him a follow. So it was Do It Noel's Way Paranormal. He's put a little video. It was only a short one up. It was either yesterday or today, I can't remember, and I had a watch of it. And his theory, so he's saying, like you don't find bodies of dogmen. Well, is it not because if they are in some way or other werewolves, well, wouldn't they, once they've died, revert back to human form? So you wouldn't find a body of one, would you? And I thought, oh shit, yeah, you're right. So there are two theories now that I'm going to buy into. One is that one, and one is the Jeff Nadolny one about the Dinopithecus, which I think is very plausible. Anyone been following the Lucy Letby trial? No, I haven't. Night Owl or their own death. Well, absolutely, Wiccan. But they were using hunters in America as an example, and they said, "How often have you found the remains of a bear?" And they couldn't find anybody who had said other than one that they'd shot. They never found the remains of them. So, is it that strange that you wouldn't find a Bigfoot body or a dogman if it's dogman that exist? Wickamoon, everyone always thinks I'm in the USA. No, I don't know why. That's weird, isn't it? I don't know whether it's the name, Kindness Cake. Which, there's nothing American about your name. Just letting the dogman out for a pee when my dogman's out barking in the garden. There's another dog barking over the backs. Are you going to be quiet and stop yapping? Please and thank you. Little Tinker. Or they could come and retrieve the dead if you believe they come through portals. Well, now that's it, isn't it, Lady Witch? Because I do. That's one of the things that I do buy into. I do think that they are coming through some form of a portal, especially the ones that are found around grave sites, crematoriums, cemeteries, burial mounds. Like Mick said, there are an awful lot of these sightings that are happening around a burial mound that's up at Rivington. And anyone else melting? How the F is it 28 degrees at 10 o'clock? I know, Helen, I'm dying here. First you've heard about them in the UK. Yeah, they have been covering them for years. And then there is a good story. If you look up the Flixton werewolf, Julia, after I finish this live, go and have a look at the Flixton werewolf story. And please, Paul Sinclair, Wolflands, I also put a link up to that on my community page. Please give him a sub, because he is looking at these dogmen reports throughout the UK, specifically over Yorkshire. Ooh, don't shit yourself, Sheila. Yes, Janet, that's it, like primeval, certain portals. I so want Bigfoot to exist and Mrs. Bigfoot and babies. I personally think they do. Apparently they're very smelly, which is okay, but it kind of verifies sightings to me via way of smell. That's right. That's right, Kindness. They're supposed to absolutely honk. Oh, thanks for subbing to him, Sheila. I mean, we got, I kid you not, on Saturday, Helen, it got to 31 here. Frigging 31 in northwest England. What the actual? Oh, Julia, I had to reread that. Then I just glanced at the telly. I thought you put your asses brown. I'm thinking, what? And now I've just thought, Helen's put, I need a poo. Oh, my eyesight's going terrible because of the heat. You heard a lot about big cats around here, but not dogmen. Well, there you go. Have a watch of that, because that's going to be one of my my little things to watch later when I come offline. So, I mean, we could have a cocktail. Oh, yes. Now, what is your cocktail of choice, Helen? Because mine would be a pina colada. I like going old school, but when I went to Greece, the guy who ran the hotel, he could only make two cocktails, a tequila sunrise or a pina colada. and I couldn't have tequila sunrise because there's orange in it and I'm allergic to them. So I was like, well, I'll have a pina colada. Oh my God, fell in love with. Hi, Brie, how are you? Lovely to see you, darling. Oh, mojito, okay. Loving it. Sleeveless top, shorts, bare feet, sandals, brilliant. Well, Frida, can't stay, but I love you guys loads. Oh, we love you too, Brie, and it's lovely to see you. Oh, before you go, Brie, drop a link into your channel. Just cut and paste it and pop it into the chat here. Please give oh God, oh, I hope you're all right. I hope you're okay, darling. But we'll catch up with you very soon. Bree's got some lovely little videos up, like Gulf of Mexico and so on, and they're so relaxing. Beautiful sunsets. You know, when you just think, you know, I just don't want to watch shit. I just want to watch something that just puts me back in touch with how beautiful this planet is. So that's watch Bree's channel. So yeah, or if she can't put it up, if somebody could put her link in, that would be really, really kind. And go over and give her a sub. And as I said, anybody else wanting to drop anything in, kind of Sheila, loving your uploads. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Lady Witch. There you go. There's Brianna's link at the bottom that Lady Witch has just popped in. Thank you, darling. Oh, have you seen them as well, Wiccan? Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? I love watching it's just the sea. It's so sweet. It's so kind and lovely of you all. I love you guys. Oh, thanks for subbing to a night owl. Thank you. Just sometimes you just need a little bit of escapism, don't you? Just to get away from the owl shite, as they say. Not as nice as Scotland. Well, thank you for subbing. I can't even speak. Thank you for subbing to us, Sheila, and everybody else. Earth is amazing, really, and humans all need to be friends, not evil. Well, I'll. You see, as a pagan, Julia, we're of the opinion that we apologise for nothing, and I will be as angry as I like, and I believe in revenge. So I've got. So I don't. I'll be friends with the people that I like, and you guys are all people that I like. Don't you mean as a northerner? Yeah, as in a bloody pagan, an even Helen, bloody even. Oh, thanks for subbing to a Frida. Now, how was your Chinese meal? For those who happy Eki thump. For those who missed before, I was very jealous because every Wednesday, Frida and her daughter have girly night. They have a proper mummy and daughter night, and they do girly things, and it's great. They'll watch a film or something. So tonight, they're watching Poldark and perving over Aidan Turner. Yes. And Frida made a Chinese meal. So the little bugger WhatsApped me photos of this Chinese meal that I'm not eating. It was almost the end of our friendship then, Frida. I'll just let you know that. It is Tuesday. Why? Well, what did I say, Brian? Have I said the wrong day? Oh, thank you, Julia. And don't forget Lady Witch. Or did I just say a different day? Oh, for God's sake, I'm an absolute knob. Oh, yeah, Wednesday, Tuesday. Yeah, sorry. I've done this 4 times today. I was supposed to be going circuit training on, we usually go on a Wednesday night. We had to change it last week to Friday, and now we've had to change it to Thursday. And when I saw my friend Jill this morning, I'm like, right, are we getting ready for going to, are you all set for circuit training tomorrow night? And she went, I thought I changed it. I went, yeah, you have, to tomorrow. And she went, oh, fuck, I meant to change it to Thursday. And I went, is Thursday not tomorrow? She's like, no, tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know what's happening with me at the moment. What's Night Owl? Cassis, I'm sorry for the mix-up yesterday. I didn't fully understand what was going on. Sorry again. I was putting 2 and 2 and equals 10. We all do that. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm knob. Oh, yeah. Yeah, kindness. It was Brianna in Quirtyland. That's our Brie. She's been around a long time and she's lovely. Yeah, I think what's happened is, Night Owl, there's been a lot of people trolling and just being arseholes, really, instead of just letting people get on with what they get on with, like us over here. You know, you get told, sod off, we're not interested, and because they want traffic to the shit channels, they start making stuff up. So, whatever, make your videos, make your lies. Nobody cares. Stay in your own lane. Sad arses. Just stay away. We talk about, we've got content that we all want to talk about in here. We don't want to talk about bloody dodgy shit that's going on other channels. There you go. Something's got to float the boat. I thought it was a float the boot. Dinner was lovely, Kiss. Simple and not expensive, easy to cook. And then Aidan Turner. Well, actually, I feel really bad now because I did say your son looked like Aidan Turner, didn't I? I wasn't perving on him, honest. I swear I wasn't. We have enough strange, sad old women on the internet perving on other women's sons. So I genuinely, I just realised. You see, I need to show you my. I've got a mug, Frida, that you'll love. In fact, I may actually send one to you because you will crack up laughing if you see it. I'm not going to say any more at the moment. Let's have a look. Lady Witch, me, Wiccan, I've been sick and the days are running together. Oh no, are you all right, love? Oh, I don't like that you've been sick. I thought I hadn't seen you round much. Wiccan, I had a slight panic that I've been writing the wrong day on the boards all day. Oh, Helen, it's just me, isn't it? I'm an idiot. Frida Walk Express. Yeah, he does. So for anybody who didn't know, Frida's son is very handsome and he does look like Aidan Turner. The very first time I saw him, I think it was about last year or something, wasn't it? I was like, oh my God, your son looks like Aidan Turner. And then was like, oh shit, you don't say that about your friends' sons. Even if they're the same age as you or older than you or younger than you just don't. It's not the done thing. Is it don't let the bastards get you down? I got that as a gift. I thought I'd needed it. Well, I got a really good mug a while ago. It was and somebody nicked it. It was in work probably a couple of years ago. The same, I used to have it as my header on here, if you remember. Behold the field in which I grow my fucks. Cast thine eyes upon it, and then thou shalt see it is barren. Janet, who's Aidan Turner? Brian, you're a knob. Shut up. Frida's son is 53. Okay, so Aidan Turner, right? He's in Poldark. Did you used to watch, Janet, Being Human, where the ghost, the vampire, and the werewolf all lived in the same house? So that Leonora Critchlow was in it, and Aidan Turner played John Mitchell, the vampire, and he is as fit as a butcher's dog. Oh, you must have. Oh, right, okay. Here are. Have you watched Lord of the Rings, Janet? Have you watched the Hobbit? Not the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit ones. So the Hobbit. There. Oh, forget what it was. That first one. You don't have a TV, right? Bugger. Okay. Do you know what I'll do? I'm going to put you up on, after I finish this live, on a community post. I'm going to put you up a picture of Aidan Turner so you can see who he is, and then you can go, oh my God, Frida's son looks like him. Oh, Lady Witch. Oh God, are you all right now, darling? Janet, not going to lie, he's a good looking guy. You'll have to Google. Oh, were you wondering as well, Simples? Do you know who he is now, though? Yeah, we're all sending you lots of love and prayers. We're going to do that. Oh, yeah, he is. He's got dark hair. He's got dark eyes. He's very handsome. He looks a bit like, if you were going to imagine a Let's have a think. Right, imagine you were gonna say you were gonna imagine like a Romany guy, like a gypsy with the curly black hair. That would be Aidan Turner. Kiss, do you think you may be a vessel, some sort of connection to the other worlds that my mum is chosen to? Do not be afraid. I don't know, kindness. I don't know. I mean, I read the tarot and whatnot, and I tend to have. It's really weird. This happens to me all the time. I'll be driving, and I'm a bugger for driving too fast. So say I'm in a 30 and I'm going 40, and I'll suddenly just think I shouldn't be doing this. I take my foot off the accelerator, I get right down to 30, go round a bend. There's a copper with a radar gun. And that has happened to me so many times. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. So I don't know. Intuition, I don't know. Spooky. I think whatever happened with that triangular thing when I was 19, that I think has triggered something. Oh, Sheila's just put the link in for the pole dart trailer so that anybody who doesn't know what Aidan Turner looks like can go and click on it and have a look. Yeah, he is very swarthy, isn't he, Frida? Oh, everybody's sending you all the love, Lady Witch. Yeah, I think like, Wiccan and Lady Witch and who else is there? There's somebody else, isn't there? Oh, Rachel Sykes. She's the same as well. And they embrace their abilities, the psychic or paranormal or whatever you want to call it. Whereas me, it just frightens me. You're okay. You just oh, bless you, Brian. Didn't think your car went that fast with those short legs. I'll tell you what, they might be short legs, but they will be big enough to stick the toe of my shoe up the crack of your arse when I see you on Southern S Beach. Mark me words. Music can speak as well. They seem to play this certain song at the right time. Yeah, and more. Oh, hi, Green Eyes. Oh, no, are you not so good as well? Oh, love. Yeah, Cassie, she said exactly what I've just said. Kick his ass, cheeky get. How are you, Green Eyes? I live beside a forest. When you come over, we'll go for a walk in them at night. Are you mental? That's all I'm going to say. Are you mental? Dear me. Well, Green Eyes, what you might find fascinating is, get this today. So you get me to walk in woods in the dark. I might get attacked by something. Maniac. And there'll be no Lep Castling, I'll tell you that for now. Well, Green Eyes, this will make you feel dizzy. If you're feeling sick, this will really make you feel it, and anybody else. So apparently, I made a video and took it down before I'd ever started to make lives on this channel. How does that work? Answers on a postcard. It's grand, we'll be fine. You'll be with you. Yeah, you'll be with me. Whatever. You mad bugger. Crazy bugger. Am I recalling correctly? Someone in last week's chat heard the sky groaning and sighing. I think that is both spooky and wonderful. It was Sheila, Kindness Cake. It was Sheila who heard it, but other people have as well. I think Green Eyes had heard it. I know, Green Eyes, honest to God, look, check out my community posts. Fucking idiots. It'll run away from you because it knows I want to interview it. Oh, right. Stop. He's trying to figure out the dynamics of how you did that case. Well, that was it, Lady Witch. Because apparently I took a video down because I've got to have Bam protecting me or something. So I took this video down when Bam went offline. But I only started doing lives after Bam went offline to give us all somewhere to congregate and have a laugh. So I don't know where this dickhead's getting her information from. Probably the crazy stalker that Wiccan's got that makes her shit up as she goes along. But either way, that's the last I'm going to address her. The lot of them want to lay off either the whatever it is that she's either sniffing glue, taking drugs, or drinking, or is just plain old batshit crazy. We're all sold up. We don't need any more crazy in here than we've already got. So stay in your own lane, you crazy bitches, and leave us all alone. That's all I can say. We've got content. We don't need your drama to get people watching. Yeah? Bye-bye. I was going to say drop dead, and then I thought, no, that would come back at me. But no, do me a favor. Yeah, drop dead. Do everybody a favour. Right. I'm a time traveling shapeshifter. God, try saying that when you've had a drink. Right. Everybody, this is your challenge. You've got to say that sentence quickly 5 times. She's a time traveling shapeshifter. She's a time traveling shapeshifter. She's a time traveling shapeshifter. 5 times and tell me how you get on. I knew you invented it, Kiss. I fucking knew it. Why? Why did you? Keep it to yourself. Why? Damn it. Why? And that's it. Glue sniffing her on gas. Well, they're not, they can't afford anything proper. Whatever it is, it's damaged all the grey cells. I mean, why? I did find it quite funny, but then fuck me. Yeah, whatever. Just stop trying to. If anybody can tell me where I've tried to claim that I'm being abused or a victim, let me know. The only time I've ever had anything to say was when that monstrosity that looks like a walking corpse from Norway called me a twat, because I'm not having some man, and I'm using that phrase very loosely, calling me that. Because like I said, I had a boyfriend here who still is going to be wanting to have words with you. So we'll see what happens. But apart from that, piss off. Brian, oh, you are awful, but I like you. Yes, my dad used to love Dick Emery. He's got, oh God, well, I was talking about this before on the phone. He's got videos of programs he used to watch from years ago. That's one of them. And then there was another one that I'll tell some of you about later, but it did make me laugh because it did half remind me of 2 people that we all know and don't love. Anyway, you sense something so profound, not sure what, but something fortuitous. Well, some people reckon that they're angelic. The trumpets, aren't they? I can't remember if they're seraphim or cherubim, whichever they are. Is it seraphim that have the trumpets? Anyway, I know some people think that that's what they are. You love Duck Emery. Was that Dick Emery's pet? You thought it was Dick Emergency. Oh, I know, but Lisa Marie is like a walking. He looks like a flipping member of the cast of The Walking Dead. And Jesus, if you want to hide something, put it under a bar of soap. You have videos, but Shona won't let me watch them. Oh, on the buses. I thought you said Dick Emergency. Love Duck Out. Yeah. Anywho, so now that I've shared my stories with you all, I'm going to probably, I was trying to think what day we'll do another live on. Maybe Friday or Friday or Saturday, I think, because I'm quite busy this week. The world is changing. Good follows good, bad follows bad. Yeah, but I know what videos you're showing won't let you watch, Brian. They're the kind that you get in a brown paper bag over the counter, aren't they? So, what do you want the next paranormal live to be based upon? Give me some suggestions in the chat, if you will. Saturday, then we can all have a drink while we're listening. Yeah, well, I don't mind doing Saturday. Like I said, Saturday is Natter I know what I mean, Brian. Yeah, wanker. There's a lot of that going about as well at the minute, isn't there? Anyway, enough said. So, yeah, hurry up, put it in the chat. What would you like our next paranormal chat to be on? Give me some topics. I'm happy to cover anything. Love Thy Neighbour and Man About the House were my favourites. Kiss Does Kansas. You're a cheeky get. Hey, don't say that. No, I've got cousins living in Kansas. That's wrong. That's very wrong. I'm going to have a little sip of my water, excuse me. I'll tell me dad of you, Brian. Bigfoot, please. Yeti, Sasquatch, et al. Righty-ho. Well, because what about ley lines? I know very little about them. To be honest, Frida, I don't know a massive amount about ley lines. I know that's something that Mick is really into, Mick McLaren, and I can always see if we can get him to come back on and talk about ley lines. I can tell you that the very little I know, maybe talk about. If I know some about it, but I'm not an expert at any way, shape, or form. Sheila, what's ghosties and ghoulies and king-legged beast? Right, do you mean ghosties and ghoulies and long-legged beasties and things that go bump in the night? Well, we can just do a general one then, can't we? If we cover some Bigfoot stuff. It's all right. I got it. I understood it, Sheila. It's bad when you understand other people's typos. It just shows that we're all on the same wavelength. Hi, Paula. Oh, everybody, the lovely Paula's just dropped in. Lovely to see you. Well, we're kind of nearly at the end, Paula. But hopefully, if you're bored, you can go back and have a little listen. I've done like my 3 experiences, and we're just having a bit of a chit chat. And then I'm possibly going to come on again, maybe Saturday, and we'll just have a general paranormal chat. We'll cover a little bit of Bigfoot. I hope Jo can come in actually, because she's had experiences, hasn't she? Oh, there you are. Hi, Paula from Julia. Hi, Paula from Wicken. Paula from Sheila. Paula from Lisa Marie. Hi, Paula from Brian. I think everybody. Oh, Janet said hi, Paula, as well. Cassius, hi, Paula. Very interested. Ghosts in the spirit world. Look at him. Listen to me, Brian. Paula, you haven't missed much. It's a good job I like you, because otherwise I'd be blocking you. You'd be going along like the way of all turds. What about shadow people? I don't know about. Oh, shadow people freak me out. Shadow people. No, what is it that Casper Site calls them? Shadow bastards. Come here, you little shadow bastards. I love his channel. That's another one for everybody or anybody who doesn't know. Casper Site. He is brilliant. He's one of my favourite creators on here. He's excellent. Time travel. Well, apparently I'm an expert at time travel, Brian. Sheila, have you heard about Shadow Ranch? Oh, no, I've not heard about that. I've heard Skinwalker Ranch. The Hat Man. Oh, we've got a lot of... we've got a lot now. That's what I call badgers, bastard badgers. Oh, shadow shadow badges. Right. Well, do you know what? I'm going to get together then. I'll get quite a few topics, and I will do a story about each with a bit of a discussion. How's that grab you? Yeah, I've heard of Skinwalker Ranch. Is that what you meant, though? Maybe, because I do that sometimes and write the wrong thing. Give me one sec, this pissing dog. Oi! Come in here now. Come in here. Come in, you little sod. Come in. Yeah, right. We'll do that then. I will get everything sorted out. And I was going to say, in the meantime, now I know it's really, because I can't really say anything because I did retaliate twice today. Oh, Sid, there you are. Can everyone make sure you have plenty of drinking for Saturday? It's going to be a long one. Yeah, that's what she said. Have you been in all night, Sid, or have you just snuck in? And how's Nancy? Because I know you said you were hoping that she might have been discharged. Is she home now? Or were you about to yell at yours? Well, the thing is, Paula, it's like, what is it now, 10:30? And he's out in the back barking. You know, there's people with kids around, so Nancy's home. Oh, brilliant. Hi, Nancy, from all of us. Lots of love. Skinwalker Ranch, that's the one that should have. I thought, you see, you thought you're being clever, didn't you, Frida? I love Skinwalker Ranch. There's so many weird and awful, horrific stories connected to it, because one of the ones that I get really interested in are the cattle mutilations. Now, this is funny because at the moment, in a place called Meeker, Meeker, in America, there are a load of cattle mutilations going on that the authorities have, well, let's just say it's another one of these mysterious animal attacks. But not only that, there is a story coming out of Meeker that there is a government agency, shall we call them, who are actively hunting a pack of dogmen. So maybe we could have a little look at that as well. Did anyone hear the 10-foot creature in Vegas this week and there was a blue light on police? Yes, Julia, I've put it on my community page. I've put a link to it on there. So if anybody hasn't seen it, go and have a look over there. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to Nancy, so hopefully she can hear us. So yeah, Julia, it's a weird one, that. There's a journalist who stayed at Skinwalker saying it's all a big money scam. I know, Janet, I've heard that as well, but I don't believe it. Everyone's so nice and glad that Nancy's home. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that we can have a talk about. Maybe we should just have a free-for-all on Saturday. Just anything goes, whatever topics, that come to mind, and we'll just like throw them all in. Throw them all in there, and we'll have a little bit of a chit chat. So there's one story that you might like, Sid, I've just told tonight, but it's going to stay up. So have a look at your pick. I can't see it, Brian. If I try and click on it, I'm going to knock myself offline. What is it? You might have to tell me, because I can't see. I'm using my phone, you see, and they're all tiny. Please about that, Sid. Look after each other. That's it. All right. So all I'm going to say in the meantime is that, I did retaliate today to some absolute garbage that's been spouted again. That is being conveniently ignored. I've debunked it and it's being ignored. And so I've retaliated again, and that is it now. So all I was going to say is, all of you, most of the people in here are, let's say, we've all been immensely disgusted at what's come out over the past few days. I have said it before. I'm going to say it on here now. I did not donate to a crowd justice fund in order to fund somebody's personal lifestyle and life choices. I was donating on the promise that the purpose of the crowd justice fund was to deplatform AD, get him off YouTube. I didn't do it so somebody could try suing a British pensioner, whether we like him or not, to basically fund himself and fill his own pockets. So, you know, and the stuff that's come out since, you know, it's a fake arrest record. Is it? I don't think so. The photo that all of them were saying was fake. It was photoshopped. No, it doesn't look like that to me either, you know, and that's been floating around the internet for a long time. And everybody was basically, you're not to talk about it. We're not to talk about it. And because we are, people are just getting attacked. So whatever. Now, I don't need anyone to fight my battles. Absolutely not. As you all know, I'm quite vocal. All I will suggest to people is block the lot of them. I've got them all blocked. I don't go watching the shit. I saw that today because it's been sent to me. I have retaliated because I think the craziness is coming through. I think that when you have got obviously substance abuse issues, you shouldn't be near the internet. When you've got mental health issues, you shouldn't be near the internet. When YouTube is the only thing that you have got in your life to try and make you feel like an important person, it's time to log off. So all I'm going to say is block them, don't look at them, don't feed them, let them say whatever they want. If they want to lie about me, that's fine. The people that I like and that I know the truth. They're just showing themselves up to be ignorant and childish and liars. So that's my advice to everybody. And then we'll stick doing what we do in here and let them just explode and keep supporting people with criminal records and whatever else they want to do. Keep it away from me. Apparently, a person said it didn't matter if the money in the SIT went to FR for his own personal use. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I said. They might be happy that it changed, but I didn't donate based on that that promise. Else, if that had been the original purpose of that Crowd Justice Fund, I would never have donated, but I would have had the choice to. The choice has been taken away from me and everybody else. With you guys, 100%. They're so full of deception. It's obvious and it's pathetic. It is. It is. What else have we got here? Might have covered up during that video. No. Oh, I know. Yeah. How dare he? How dare Cassius be exposing his flesh? He did not give another penny after it. I thought the same AD had been. Yeah, that was it, Cassius. If it's fake, why the reaction to it? Well, to be honest, Lady Witch, that's what I said. You know, we were told. How many of us were told over the course of the last 3 years? Was it when that photo was supposed to have surfaced? No, I didn't see it until now. I didn't want to see it. It's fucking disgusting. But when it first was being rumoured about, it was, no, it's a fake. It's been photoshopped. Don't believe it. Don't look at it. Don't believe it. It's not true. The arrest record, that's fake. It's been photoshopped. Don't look at it. Don't believe it. It's not true. And I had no reason to think that they were lying. So, like I said, if it's fake, and I said this the other day, why are you reporting people for revenge porn? Which it isn't actually revenge porn, by the way, but whatever. Why are you reporting people for revenge porn if it's a fake photo? Just saying, anyway. But that's the interest that I've got in it. Fuck all. I don't care. I'm not interested. So lie all you like, make your fake videos, make your fake claims, do what you want. You start calling people do clap back at you, you don't like it and you cry victim, whatever. Never again will you be discussed on my channel. Right, so let's see, before I stop talking about this altogether. It's the lies that madden me and the denials. They are so deceitful and snarky set of snakes. Yes. Spot on, says Cassius. Agree 100%, says Lisa Marie. Lady Witch, please note, if said money ends up going to Junior, that would mean Bam was right. Put that in your pipes and smoke it. There we go. Let's highlight that one. It went around a long time ago. It did, Cassius. It did. It's been on the internet forever. If you go onto Reddit, you can see that arrest record. It's on there. And a guy on there who verifies this stuff has said he has checked it and double checked it and verified it. Cassius was obviously enjoying the sun and not naked in bed or the bath or sat in the house live streaming. The arrest record is true. There's a CO number on it, just saying. Because we were all sucked in, unfortunately. People donated from the kindness of the hearts, treated like shit, like shite. Terrible. It is. Well, no more. So, oh, look, the numbers have gone up. Hi, Peanuts. Revenge porn. That would mean that I had slept with that weird freak. No way in hell would I ever go near a man that abused children and has a drug habit. Not only that, he's ugly. Wiccan has got a really good description for certain people. And I think that's very apt. She says they look like a knacker. Kind of thing. It is a real photo, saw it years ago. I wonder who is circulated it this time round. Truth is truth, just saying. Don't sugarcoat it, Sheila. Sheila never sugarcoats anything. I seen it was on Google. Don't know if it's on there anymore. But you see, I never even looked. But apparently that weirdo who stalks Wiccan has said that everybody in Bam's chat admitted to having that photo on the phones. See, again, another ridiculous lie. She records everything, like Sheila said. You record fucking everything. So show where everybody in Bam's chat said that they have that photo in the phones. I dare you. Do it now. Not that I'll watch it anyway, because you're boring as shit and weird and mental. But anyway, is FR now on a child protection register because of his child abuse? I've got no idea, Night Owl. Are you laughing there, Lisa Marie, you little tinker, you? Little tinker. So, exactly, Sheila. It doesn't qualify, but it does qualify as dark comedy. Oh, dear me. So, right then, guys and gals. Well, now that we've degenerated, gone off at a tangent. So, can I just say, I mean, I love you all. I think you're all amazing. But can please nobody send me any more screenshots of the shit that's coming out of Skankerbell's channel and that dank arsehole and anybody else? I'm genuinely not going to give them the steam off me pish. All right. I'm not interested in anything. That's no offense to any of you guys at all. But that's the last time that those skanks are ever going to get a mention on this channel. So if that's okay, please just let them just chat into their echo chamber. Nothing that those people have got to say is of any interest to me. It showed the level of ignorance, shall I say, that when she was called out on the blatant fuck up on that whole I deleted a video as Bam went offline, and still hasn't even got the manners or the wherewithal, shall I say, to just say, oops, yeah, I was told wrong or I got it wrong. They can't, so whatever. Bollocks to them. Wicca says, yes, me too. Don't care, don't want to know. No. Shite. Oh, the steam off my pish. It was that in that I think is in a Scene Canary voice. Love you too, Kiss a Tudor. Oh, thank you, Lisa Marie. You're lovely. I wouldn't go that far, but whatever. Oh, come on, she's funny. Kindness Cake agrees. Wiccan says they're a joke. Right, you lovely lot. I am going to bugger off now. I need something to eat because I haven't had any tea. It was one of those. I was going to do some exercises. Time passed me by, and I didn't want to kind of eat and then exercise. Now it's too late for both. So I think I'm going to cook myself a couple of boiled eggs before I go to bed. Yeah, what was my video that pissed them off? Can I say thank you to anyone that has subbed to my channel? Oh yes, Sheila, look, shamelessly plug your channel again if you want before I close down. Stick your link in, feel free. Cassie said I wouldn't give them the steam off my piss. Yeah, much love to everyone. Night all, take care, stay safe. That's it. Stay away from scuzzy people, everybody. Just stick to the people who you know. Saturday I'll do as a really good I'll do as a good and interesting live, and then if anybody wants to come up, especially anybody like Julia, if you fancy coming up and telling us some of your stories, because everybody loves them, everybody does, that'll be really interesting. Kiss, have a great night. Thank you. Chat again. Lovely jubbly evening. Oh, thank you, Cassius, love. Yeah, Green Eyes, love Sheila's videos. Julia, catch you all on Saturday, hopefully. Take care, love, and yeah, I'll try and convince you to come up. Bye, everybody. And Sheila, I'm not a creator, but want the lies exposed. If any creator or anyone wants me to upload anything in their behalf, even anonymously, I'll post it. Thanks, Kiss, for this. It was lovely. Oh, you're welcome, Wiki. Night, Brian, Linda. Night, everybody. See you all on Saturday. And as always, oh, finger to the peanuts, up yours. See you all on the bright side.